Hey, this is Jack. Can't get to the phone. Leave a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.
Hello, Jack. This is Ron Keel calling for our scheduled interview. Please call me back on this number if you can, or I'll try back in about 5 minutes, man. Thanks. Looking forward to it. It happens. Usually at least once a week. Hello, is this Jack?
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Sorry I missed your call, man. I was in the Louvre.
It's all good, man. Great to hear your voice. You up for this?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Man, thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and looking forward to catching up.
Well, thanks, brother.
You got it, man. We'll jump right into it. Shouldn't take long. I'll tell you, we edit the radio broadcast on 10 stations down to about 12 minutes, and then the entire version of the interview goes on the podcast on Spotify, Amazon, Google, iTunes, all that. So anything we say can and will be used against us in the court of public opinion.
Of course. Yeah, I know how that goes.
Right on, dude. Let's kick it off. Here we go. That is Jack Russell's Great White from the album He Saw It Coming, a great record by one of the most loved guys in our business. We go way back, and this week we're going full speed ahead on the streets of rock and roll as I am joined by the man behind that voice and that music, Jack Russell. Welcome, my friend. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, no problem, Ron. Nice to talk to you again, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I think the last time I saw you was at M3 2014. It's been a few years. We got some catching up to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Aren't we doing some shows together coming up? I think we have something booked, or we did.
We are, and that's the big news, the big headline of this entire discussion and interview. We've done a lot of gigs together through the years, from our old Hollywood heyday to Rocklahoma, M3, lots more. But next up, you and I are going to join forces for a big show at The Scene in Kansas City, Missouri on June 12th. It's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. It's going to be great, man. I mean, nice to see you again. We can definitely catch up in person as well.
Yeah, it is. We'll talk a lot about that show during the next 12 to 20 minutes, but you've been one of the careful ones, Jack, throughout this pandemic. You've been laying low. How long has it been since your last concert?
Oh, God, a year last February.
Wow.
So we're planning on heading out. Our first show, I think, is May 10th in Texas. So that's going to be a welcome gig, you know.
Absolutely. You got to be excited to get back out there with your boys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally excited. It's been the longest I've been off the road. Well, not really. The longest I've been off the road was back when I was ill, when I had my my colon burst on me, and I was out the road for a year and a half. So, but this is coming up on that. So it's been a long one. This has been so boring. I mean, it's really just destroyed so many people in rock and roll. I mean, I know guys that are, they've had to go out and get a regular job, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's been tough on everybody, and a lot of people don't understand that as musicians, we are American small business owners. This is our brand, our business, and we have been, many of us, like yourself, have been at a standstill for a long time. I'm speaking with multi-platinum rock vocalist Jack Russell, and Jack, as we get older, it gets tougher to keep up with our heroes like Sammy Hagar, Steven Tyler. Those guys are 10 years older than you and I are, and they're still kicking ass. How have you stayed in rock star shape during this recent downtime?
Well, I've been exercising a lot to keep up. I mean, that's just what I've had to do. I mean, because I had a hip replacement about, 9 months ago. So I've had to really stay in shape to get back to par, But I mean, I exercise a lot anyway, because, especially during the COVID, it's been, like you said, it's just been, there's been nothing to do except sit around and watch TV or, play Yahtzee or whatever, It's definitely been a trying time for all of us. And as you said, we are one of America's small business owners. And, it's really hard, when you're, I mean, for a lot of people, unless they've been, fortunate enough to have the money to not have to go out there and join the workforce at some level, I mean, I just count my blessings. I haven't had to go get a job somewhere, you know?
Yeah, and everybody knows, guys like you and me, you can tell from everything you see and hear online that Jack Russell lights up and loves that experience when you're on stage singing your songs, playing music with your guys. I mean, without that, it's like food for the soul. We're starving without it, and I can't wait to get back on stage with you. I'm glad that you're going to be out there this summer, and I'm glad to do at least one show with you and hopefully more. Jack, a rock front man like you and me, our best friend is usually the lead guitar player, and singers like us are always looking for our counterpart, our Jimmy Page, our Joe Perry, whatever. I thought you and Kendall came about as close to that type of dynamic as any of our contemporary bands that sprung out of the 80s. But in recent years, it seems like you've been twice bitten because you found the perfect working counterpart with your guitarist and partner, Robbie Lochner. What a great dude. And I know he's always got your back. Tell me what that relationship with Robbie has meant to you these past few years.
Well, I mean, it's saved my life, really. I mean, I've been so fortunate to find somebody that's not only a dear friend, and has come into my life and made it better. Dug me out of some dark pits, emotionally and spiritually. But to have that writing partner that came in and we had that instant connection, it was like we've been working together for years. The first album to me was a great record. I'm really proud of it. One of the records I'm proud of most. And, it was just one of those things that was like magic. We just clicked. I've never expected to find that again, because Kendall, as you said, Kendall and I, we had that going for many, many years. And I didn't expect to find that relationship again, but I was very fortunate in Robbie Lochner, to have that presence and that, writing, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, this guy's got your back and I've done interviews with Robbie on his podcast and TV show, and gotten to know him pretty good over the last few months, and just texting and talking back and forth. That guy really, really loves you, and he's got your back. What a great partner, a great songwriting combo. And as I was looking through tracks to play on this week's radio show, I went back to my He Saw It Coming album, and I'm going, which song should I play? They're all great. It's all Jack. It's all you and Robbie making some really good music together. So I'm really happy for you, and glad that you found that partner, man. He's a great dude.
Yeah, he really is, man. I love him a lot. He's got a great family. We get along great. We get along really well.
Is Eric Baker still your manager?
No, that's been we nixed that a long time ago.
All right, I'll edit that out. I'll edit that out of the interview. I just wanted to make sure, because I know you do have a strong business team behind you as well. Your agent, John Domigal at ARM, is a friend of mine, and I know he's done a lot for me through the years. How important was it to have the support of an agency like ARM and John Domigal after you split with your former band and struck out on your own?
Well, it was huge, it was huge. John and I we go back to like 1987, 1988. So we've been friends for many, many years. And, the relationship was already there. So it was, I felt like I'd love. And yeah, as you said, it was very, very important. To have somebody that has your back out there on the touring side of things, because, there's so many people out there that just don't do a good job, and they don't treat their artists well. Pardon me. And they don't, keep you in the best situations. John has always had my back when it came to doing gigs and keeping us working. So that's what we've been with him since the very beginning of this.
Well, he's a great guy, and I do know him well. We've worked a lot together. He's in Minnesota, and I'm in Sioux Falls, so we're 5 hours apart. We've done a lot of stuff together the past few years. I think the world of John Domigal and ARM. Please let him know I said hello, and I recommend.
I sure will.
I highly recommend that Jack Russell's Great White and the Ron Keel Band do a lot more shows together.
That would be great. I would love that, man. I would love that. Just like the old days.
I know. It really would. And it's a great double bill. And I tell you, I haven't seen this level of excitement in a long time. The Shark family and the Keelaholics, they're really excited for this gig in Kansas City, Missouri at the Scene on Saturday night, June 12th. And the fans love you, Jack, not only because of the music and that sweet voice, but because you're a fighter and a survivor as well. And you've set a great example for people that have gone through adversity and come out better for it on the other side.
Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate that, man. You know, I've always said never give up, you know, never give up on your dream. You know, and this is all I ever wanted to do. And, you know, just because I've had some setbacks, you know, physically and career-wise, I would never, you know, let that stop me from doing the thing I love more than anything else in the world, you know, which is being on stage to sing. You know, I mean, there's nothing like it, as you know, and having the fans there and you know, just trying to make them have let them have a better day. And even if it's just for an hour and a half or so, you know, to make them smile, it's a great gift and it's a great honor.
Absolutely, man. And you do it well. And I'm super proud of how far you've come, because I know you have dealt with a lot of adversity and, like I said, come out better for it on the other side. We just played a track from your album, He Saw It Coming. I do my best to support new music from our favorite artists on the show. How important is it for you to keep writing, recording, and releasing more new stuff?
You know, I think it's very important for a musician to do that because that's the heart and soul of what we do. I mean, you know, to create, to manifest things, that's the true gift of musicians. That without that, you know, we're not really expressing ourselves and not really, you know, putting out the emotions that we need to. I mean, it's very cathartic, you know, writing songs and making music. You know, for me, it's always been a healing experience, you know, spiritually speaking.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that you know, I love hearing music that I've written or had a part of. I just, it's one of those things I really, really enjoy. You know, and I love playing in front of a live crowd. I love giving out new music. Right now, speaking of that, we're in the middle of working on our next record. I know it's been a while, but we've had other projects that we've been doing. It's been a while, but we're working on that right now, and I'm hoping that'll be out sometime this year. But we're getting ready to start basic tracks pretty soon, so I'm really excited about that. Good,
you should be, and we're all excited about it as well. The website is JackRussellsGreatWhiteBand.com. My man, I can't wait to rock out together at the Scene in Kansas City, June 12th. All our best to you and your family and your team in life and in music. Thanks for coming on the show, and I'll see you soon.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Ron. Thank you very much, man.
Jack, real quick, before you go.
Yeah, brother.
If you have another minute, can I get a couple of liners? Just one liner. This is
of course.
Jack Russell on the streets of rock and roll with Ron Keel.
You got it. Hey, this is Jack Russell on the streets of rock and roll with my pal Ron Keel.
And if you want a couple of show promos, I can pepper those into the broadcast over the next couple of months before the gig. We're looking forward to seeing you June 12th in Kansas City at the Scene. Jack Russell's Great White, Ron Keel Band, all that stuff. Those are the bullet points. But if I can get a couple of show promos for that gig, it will come in very handy.
Okay, what do you want me to say now? What is it now?
All right, the gig is Kansas City, Missouri, the Scene, June 12th. The Scene.
Kansas City, Missouri, the Scene, June 12th. Kansas City, Missouri, the Scene, June 12th. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah. And whatever you want to say, looking forward to seeing all the fans. Yeah, well, just give a message to the fans and how much you're excited about getting back on stage and you know, doing a show with your old bro, Ron Keel.
You got it, man. All right. Hey, this is Jack Russell. Looking forward to seeing you all at the Scene in Kansas City, Missouri on June 12th with my brother Rocks, Ron Keel, and his band. We're going to have a great time, so come on out and see the show. Don't miss it.
Man, that's epic. Really, really cool, Jack. Thanks so much for your time. And
You're welcome, man.
I can't
Anytime.
wait to see you. It's going to be a blast getting back together in June, and I know the fans are going to eat this broadcast up. Just thanks for your time, and thanks for setting a great example for all of us that love what you do and what you've done and what you're going to do in the future. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Ron. I'm proud of you, too. I'm proud of you and your radio show, man. That's really great. I'm really happy for you.
Well, thanks, man. You're the best.
God bless you and your family, brother. Right on.
Likewise, man. I'll see you in June.
All right.
All right, buddy.
You got to look forward to seeing you, bro. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Ron Keel from the Ron Keel Band, Steeler and Keel. And you got it, the right to shop at the coolest stores on the planet, specializing in all things 70s, 80s, and 90s. Retroactive and Retroactive Part 2 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and online at shopretroactive.com. And I'll be there with you to celebrate Retroactive's Sweet 16 anniversary celebration on Saturday, July 31st. That's right, the Metal Cowboy live in store at Retroactive. I'm going to play some music, take some photos, sign some autographs, basically shop all night and party all day. Music, movies, memorabilia, and more. Retroactive and Retroactive Part 2 have it all. Once again, I'm Ron Keel, and I can't wait to see you at Retroactive Saturday, July 31st. Visit shopretroactive.com.
Hello, Ron.
Hello, Geoff Tate.
How are you?
Man, I'm great. Good to hear your voice, my friend. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Where are you located at?
I am in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the wild, wild Midwest.
All right.
Same as
Sioux Falls.
6-7 years now. But I think we're experiencing the same type of weather this time of year. I can tell from your latest video that you enjoyed shooting that one out in the snow and the cold. Definitely.
The biggest challenge of a shoot like that is trying not to get a red runny nose, you know?
I know, dude. I did this Black Sabbath tribute a couple of years ago, actually last year, and the guy says we need a video right now, and it's the middle of winter, and I've got the shaved head, you know, like you do, and it was absolutely a blizzard, and it's a Black Sabbath tribute. So I went to this graveyard, the cemetery in downtown Sioux Falls, and got one of the best videos of my entire life. Of course, I'm wallowing around in the snow with my dome showing and singing and lip syncing during a blizzard, but the product is great. The results are all that matters.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I appreciate you doing this, man. For the record, we edit this down to 12 minutes for the radio broadcast on 9 different stations worldwide. And on the Ron Keel podcast, we share the entire unedited conversation on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Google, all that. So whatever we say can and will be used against us in the court of public opinion.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, well, that's brand new music from Sweet Oblivion featuring Geoff Tate. The new album is called Relentless, available April 9th. From Frontiers Records, and I'm pleased to welcome my old friend and one of rock's legendary voices back to the program. Hello, Geoff. Great to catch up with you, man.
Good to hear from you too, Ron. How are you?
We're doing great here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I trust you and Susan and the girls are all doing well?
Yeah, everybody's healthy and happy, and just trying to make it through the other side of this incredibly insane year, just like everybody, I guess.
That's right. Well, Renee said to tell you hello, and I told her just come on down to the studio while I've got you on the line and say hello yourself, but she insisted that wouldn't be very professional and asked me to pass along her greeting as well.
Oh, great. Well, tell her hello from me.
I will, man. Thank you. Last time you were on the show, you had just released the debut from Sweet Oblivion, which I thought was... Yeah, I thought it was the best album released in 2019, except for the album that I released, which is pretty good. But that was a great record. I'm still listening to it. You were very gracious and seemed really excited about that album at the time. But then in other media chatter, I started to hear that you were not happy with it. And this time around, there's a new lineup of musicians and a new producer. What's changed and why?
Well, the whole project, Sweet Oblivion, is meant to be changeable. I spent 30 plus years with working with the same people when I was in Queensryche. And when that ended, I was working with Frontier Records at the time, and I told them, look, I'm really interested in working with different people. I want to be put into different situations and different collaborative efforts. And if you hear of anything, or if you get any ideas, let me know, because I'm very open to that. And they came up with this Sweet Oblivion idea, kind of matching me with different musicians, different producers, that kind of thing, and seeing what could happen. And both. This is the second project from that. Different producer, Aldo Lenoble was the producer and main writer on this, and I was very happy with the result. I think we came up with a really cool record, and seems like a lot of people really like it. So I'm very pleased.
Absolutely, a huge response so far. As we record this interview, the new video for Another Change has already racked up well over 100,000 views. It'll probably double that in the next 24 hours by the time this interview airs on the streets of rock and roll. Who knows? A lot of positive comments as well. And people say, this is the Geoff Tate I've been wanting and missing. Geoff Tate is back. Geoff Tate still got it. So many great positive comments. Geoff, do you read those comments on sites like YouTube and Blabbermouth like I do?
No, I never do. I have no clue what's happening out there with anything, really. Yeah, I'm pretty much a hermit. Remain in my own scene, and I have a small circle of acquaintances I work with and deal with, and that's kind of how I live. Although I do different projects and things like that. But I've never been one to search out other people's opinions of me.
I get it, man. And I have the hardest time with that too, because I ignore those comments as well. But I'll get my text. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. My text feed is blowing up. Hey, I hear Blabbermouth's talking about you. And I go, no, I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look. And then eventually I'll get out of bed, grab a cup of coffee, and I'll read it. But, it's all relative, and everybody's got a voice these days. But
it's an interesting thing, like you're talking about. It's other people's opinions, and what I don't think I really need to address that, or to focus on that. I mean, I know what I like, I know what I'm interested in, and that's why I do things the way I do.
Exactly. And the fact that you've sold millions and millions of records and had a legendary career in our business, I feel the same way, man. I sold a few million records. That means billions of people don't like me and don't want to hear what I do. So I'm good with that. Let's talk about the creative process. It's my impression that you were more involved in the musical side of this album, accomplishing that, sending and exchanging musical ideas on the virtual world of the internet, like the last Sweet Oblivion project. But how did that go this time with you being more involved in the music itself?
I guess it wasn't too much different than the last album. They just kind of let me, run rampant over all the different, ideas, So, they send me a bunch of stuff, and Aldo's very cool and very open-minded. He goes, hey, look, see if you can make heads or tails of any of this stuff, or it can grab you, and then we'll compile, a group of stuff together and see what we can come up with, and I like that approach. He was very open-minded about, changing things around or deleting things, and that's a big step for a writer, I think, to be able to step out of their own idea, enough to allow somebody else to come in and, edit and change, what they've already written, So my wife and I rented this cottage in Ireland over this last summer, and I just sat in the cottage working on this record the whole time we were there. It was a fantastic place to work, and very inspirational, and great view, of surrounding valley and the ocean. It was very nice. And so I just every few days send stuff off to Aldo and say, well, here's what I'm doing. What do you think? And nobody was stopping me, so I just kept going.
And let me dig deeper into that detail, Geoff, if you don't mind. What were you sending him? Lyrics, melodies, recordings of chord progressions with your voice on top of it? As a singer and musician, I'm fascinated by this process. What exactly were you sending back and forth?
Secret coded information, Ron. But,
the secret codes to your bank account, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
But right. I bet, because I do the same thing, Geoff, writing long distance now with people over the virtual world of the internet, and how we approach that. It fascinates me because so many great records, like this new Sweet Oblivion record, are being made in the virtual world. I'm speaking with renowned vocalist Geoff Tate. And Geoff, obviously, I'm a huge fan of your voice and everything that you've done. It's as rich and expressive as ever. When it came time to record these lead vocal tracks, do you do that at home, in your own studio, in your personal studio, or another facility with someone else engineering?
Yeah, I do it in my studio. Yeah,
and you're punching all the buttons. You're hitting the buttons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing it that way since in mid '90s.
Wow.
So I'm pretty used to it, and I've been through all the trials and tribulations of the Pro Tools platform, and been as frustrated with everybody else by the technology, and come out the other side, breathing air. So yeah, I like that aspect of it, and in today's world, if you want to work internationally with different musicians and different producers, this is the way it works, And I mean, you got to remember, and you know this, Ron. I'm just saying this mostly for the listening audience, that records are made completely differently these days than they used to be made. Just like now we have MP3s and MP4s and digital recordings, and we don't need to make records on lacquer anymore, and tape machines and all that old technology. That's dinosaur stuff. That's went the way. Well, like the internal combustion engine is the same thing. It's on its way out, And I know there's a few diehard people who, I prefer the sound of vinyl. I wouldn't trust those ears. Honestly.
Yeah. I always, I always have a lot of great singers on the show. I had Ronnie Atkins from Pretty Maids, your partner in Avantasia, on the show last week, and I talked to him about the same approach. And I'm always interested in how guys like you and Ronnie deliver these vocal tracks that are absolutely world class, and that richness and expression and the recording techniques. So I'm picking your brain as I get ready to do my next album. I want to do what the good guys do, and the results speak for themselves on this new album, Relentless by Sweet Oblivion. People don't understand a lot of this stuff that you do, marrying the right lyrics with the right music, collaborating across the world with people to create what really is a very personal product. I mean, it is long distance. You're thousands of miles away, but you're creating something very personal and capturing those magic moments. It's not as easy as it sounds, is it?
Well, I think you have to develop a certain level of technical proficiency, in your craft. You have to know how to, edit digitally and use a DAW platform, and then you need to marry the right microphones and, outboard equipment and things like that you might like or prefer. I love that stuff. I've collected all kinds of interesting gear over the years and bought new stuff as well along the way and upgraded. And, it's a fun thing to do. I like it. And, I like the way it is now where I can send something to whoever I'm working with, and they can change it and send it back to me, and we can basically work, very quickly that way, back and forth till you get, the idea in place, the definitive sketch of what you're trying to make. And then after you agree on the sketch, then, you just work on your performances, and get them to where you all like them. If you're using a judging panel to sort of say, yes, that's a good performance or not. Or, you just try to give them, multiple takes of greatness.
I think it's strange and it's fascinating to me, but I think it's strange how the distance between us as we're recording and working with people all over the world has made the experience more personal. You're in your own zone. You're in your own place, your own mic, your own studio. And even though you're working with people all over the planet, the creation of these songs and recordings has become so much more personal. So I think that's fascinating. And that dichotomy to me is one of the advantages of the real world. I talk to a lot of people on the show about making these long distance records, and I wouldn't have it any other way. At this point, the product speaks for itself, and the new album from Sweet Oblivion featuring Geoff Tate called Relentless. I cranked this thing up when we got the interview scheduled. And by the way, I apologize for calling you like a week and a half ago. You probably got my voicemail. I just saw Geoff Tate on the schedule and I got excited talking to Geoff Tate on Friday. So I've had 10 days to prepare for this one. But during that time, I was cranking this thing up through my PA system in my rehearsal room, and it sounds fantastic. And I'm trying to take it all in and pay attention not only to the voice and the lyrics, but the musicianship, the production, the vibe. And suddenly I realized during that first listen, I can't understand what he's saying. What's he talking about? What's he saying? Because on that one special track, you're singing in Italian. It's absolutely beautiful. How did that come about?
Well, Italy has become a major sort of thing with me. I tour in Italy. Two of my guitar players that I work with regularly touring are from Italy. I rehearse in Italy oftentimes. My wife and I started this separate project called Backstage Pass Travel, where we take people on tours of different places around the world. And Italy is one of the places that is very popular that we take people to visit. And I'm working with this Italian record company, and my producer on this project is Italian. So I thought, why not a song in Italian? And I floated it by Aldo, and he said, "Why would you want to do that?" He says, "You don't speak Italian." And I go, "Well, I don't speak Italian in conversation, but I think I order on restaurant menus. What's the difference, And he says, "Okay, well, I'll tell you what, you sing the song in Italian, and if I can understand what you're saying, then we'll do it, So I got the 2 thumbs up, so it made the record.
It's absolutely beautiful, man. And, I have some deep Italian roots as well. I lived there for a year in 2019, 2020, when I was just drinking wine and riding horses on the beach and working on songs myself, and have a deep connection with that country. A lot of the military tours that I did for the Department of Defense, touring the military bases in Europe. And, of course, I have this relationship with Frontiers Records as well. And like yourself, part of that Frontiers Records machine, one of the best albums of my career, the namesake of this radio show, Streets of Rock and Roll, was released by Frontiers. We played the Frontiers Festival a couple of years ago in Milan. So I know the Frontiers boss, Serafino Peragino. I think I could pronounce that. In fact, we spoke via email just the other day. And I know you, Geoff. You're a very focused, very driven. You like to be in charge, and you and Serafino, you guys are both alpha dogs. How does that dynamic work between you and Serafino, the guy who conceived and oversees this project?
I think we have a mutual respect for each other, but we have a middle guy that we work with, so we don't have to butt heads.
A mediator. A mediator.
Yeah, so to speak.
Cool.
Well, that sounds like an amazing time that you spent over there, riding horses on the beach. It's like a dream come true, right?
It was amazing. And I was doing the DoD tours for the Department of Defense. And when the tours finally ended, I met a girl, and not my current wife, Renee, but I just felt like I need to stay here, and I enjoyed that experience. I was done with the business. Literally, the only time in my life I've considered retiring or quitting or stopping. Maybe I'll be a songwriter, producer, or something, but I'm done with this stuff. I just decided to stay and ended up staying for a year. And long story short, I'll cut this out of the interview, so it's not about me. Just between you and me, this is just 2 friends talking. I'll cut this section out of the radio broadcast. But
I was done. I'm done. I've been on the road for 7 years solid and dealing with musicians and all the other crap that we have to deal with in this business. I'm just going to stay here for a while. And after about 3 or 4 weeks, I got the itch to play and sing. So I booked an acoustic gig at this little pub in Sigonella, Sicily. This is where I was living, in Sigonella. And that's where that reignited my desire to write and create that atmosphere. And we would, there was a guy who owned a vineyard who would let us rehearse at his vineyard. And we would go out there and drink wine and just play music and write songs. And it was just a really great, energizing period of my life. Now, 20 years ago? But deep love of that country and some great friends still that we stay in touch. And I admire that. And really, really enjoyed the Italian track on the new album. Now, Geoff, you've got a considerable amount of tour dates listed on your website, geofftate.com. And these days, it's tough to be certain about anything. What's the status of these shows, which feature you performing Rage for Order and Empire in their entirety?
Well, when the pandemic kicked in, I was on tour at the time in America on the East Coast, and it was such a shame to stop because, well, the tour was going great. We're having sellout shows, and the band was just on fire. And, but of course, COVID was hitting, and I mean, we could see the city shutting down behind us in our rearview mirror as we left, So we had to call it quits. And then all the shows that we had booked all got, postponed into the future. And so I think the dates that are up now are the second time they've been changed, and because everything keeps getting pushed further out. But I think things are looking pretty good now. And I know we're starting hard and heavy in August in the UK, and then we come back in the fall for the US dates. But right now, I am booked until Christmas, I think 2023.
Wow!
And I'm a busy boy.
I think it does look good for the future. I don't mind. I don't mind being busy. I've been hitting it pretty hard and heavy over the last, 7 or 8 years too. And I like to work. That's probably the biggest complaint I had when I was with Queensryche is, getting everybody out on the road was, you'd be home for like 2 years and then finally you'd go out and tour for 12 months and then there'd be another 2 years at home. Right. Well, I like to stay busy and keep working. So I keep my band moving pretty hard and heavy now. And we tour pretty hard. Good for you. And I do feel good about the future of touring. And I finally don't have to ask that question in these interviews. Is it ever coming back? Are we going to come back? I'm pretty sure we're going to be back. And I think that what would make it truly complete, Geoff, is if you had the same opening band that you had on the entire Rage for Order tour. Remember who that was?
Well, I'm speaking to the singer.
That was a great memory, dude. I mean, I always treasure that time when we were the opening act on the entire Rage for Order tour. And it was the first tour I think I ever did where I couldn't wait to get away from the dressing room or the merch table and get out there and watch the entire Queensryche show. I think I saw every show on that entire tour, and a great memory for me. And that certainly, that friendship is loud and proud to this day. Having you on the show now for the third time, you've done it again. You have done it again, my friend. I hate to bring this up, but you abbreviated the word featuring on the new album. Remember we talked about this last time. It says Sweet Oblivion feat. Period. Geoff Tate. We spoke about this. Did Serafino veto my suggestion to actually spell out the entire word featuring?
I think it's an Italian thing. I don't know what it is, but it keeps happening.
I just love it, man. I don't care what you call it. It's a fantastic record. I had to bring that up because that was I'm going, why can't they just spell out featuring? Sweet Oblivion featuring Geoff Tate. It's doesn't cost any extra or anything.
Well, that's it. That's it, Ron. Every letter costs something. So
I don't think so.
We're
man.
keeping the prices down,
and I'll make sure
we're keeping the prices down for the fans.
I'll make sure to do that on every advertisement we do for the radio show. This is the Streets of Rock and Roll feat. Geoff Tate. It's an amazing musical journey, man. Relentless hits the streets April 9th, available in all formats, including colored vinyl. Find it online at geofftate.com. Geoff, great talking to you, man. Great catching up. All our best to you in life and in music.
Thanks, Ron. You too, man. Take care, and thanks for having me on your show. Appreciate it.
Got it. Always. Jeff, are you there?
Yep.
One more question, and this will be edited out of the broadcast, but I'm making a personal appeal here. I can't put this on the radio on 9 stations without music, and I've asked John Freeman, your publicist. I love John. I'm not throwing him under the bus. Great guy. He takes good care of me. I've talked to Mario at the label, but they will not send me a WAV file of a track that I can put on the radio.
Oh.
Can you do that? Can you email me a track, any song that you would like to be featured on the show? Because I've got the streaming link. I've listened to the record multiple times via the streaming link, but there are no downloads available. Is that not cool? Or they won't even respond. John says, he rescheduled the interview for today, and the schedule is all good. I say, hey, by the way, John, I need music. I can't play this on the radio if I don't have a track.
Yeah, well, let me look into that, and I'll try to get you something. Is it Ron Keel at ronkeel.com?
That's correct. That's my email address. I just need one WAV file of whatever track you'd like to feature.
Okay, and is it better to send the new album WAV tracks?
Yeah, I just need whatever song you want to play. I've got the previous album, of course. I just want to play a track off the new record on the radio broadcast, which will launch 1 week from Thursday. So I'd like to play I need a WAV file. I can lift it off YouTube, of course, but the audio quality doesn't compare.
Right. Okay, yeah, well, let me see what I can do, and I'll let you know either way by the end of the day.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks, man.
Okay, Ron.
All the best to you and
man.
Susan. Thanks so much for rescheduling and for the time and for the great discussion, my friend.